Representative Delia Ramirez, Texas, currently in flight from Texas to avoid, ironically enough, having to function within our democratic order, our democratic process. Charlie Kirk writes, 3 Spanish speakers have confirmed to me that Representative Delia Ramirez says in this clip that she puts her Guatemalan pride ahead of her identity as an American. Any person who values any other country over America does not belong in Congress. Some people are suggesting she doesn't belong an American citizen. I don't believe she is an American citizen. Not as a matter of constitutional law, not as a matter of statute. I think her claimed American citizenship is nonsense because it's based on so-called birthright citizenship. And I don't believe birthright citizenship is a real thing, as I've discussed many, many times in the past. But let's see. Now, she's going to be speaking in Spanish here. I don't speak Spanish. Is my little popcorn in the audience? My little popcorn? I think she speaks Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I can order beer. ¿Dónde es la baño? ¿Dónde es la biblioteca? Dos cervezas, por favor. That's about the limit of my Spanish. So I'm not going to be able to understand what she's saying. If any of you can, feel free to affirm that we've got this right. But let's see. I'm going to play it here. It's only 10 seconds long, just so we have it in the record as part of Andrew Branca's show proceeding. Let me pull this up.
Quiero terminar decir unas palabras en español porque yo soy guatemalteca con mucho orgullo, primero que soy americana. Quiero terminar decir unas palabras en español porque yo soy guatemalteca con mucho orgullo, primero que soy americana.
Primero que es americana. I think that means before being an American. So let's see. We have some comments here that I think might be interesting to take a look at. Gunther Eagleman, he's a good follow on X. She should be removed from Congress. She should be removed from Congress. Another one, she should be removed from Congress. The time has come for you to start dismantling these non-American parasites infecting our government. Just like all the Democrats were waving around Ukrainian flags. My Spanish isn't perfect, but I heard I hate America. My Spanish is non-existent, so I don't really know what she said. Somebody here is saying, she's saying I was a proud Guatemalan before I was a proud American. Well, how does that work? Because I believe she was born on American soil. She claims birthright citizenship. So she'll have an opportunity. But of course, this is not the first person we've heard this from, right? We've heard this from other U.S. Congress women. It seems to be almost invariably women, doesn't it? That little cohort of shrews. What do they call them? The Five, the Clique, something. All women of foreign cultural heritage. Here's Ilhan Omar. She stated, sleep in comfort. She's speaking to Somalians here. Knowing that I'm here to protect the interests of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. Should people like this be U.S. representatives? Should they be U.S. citizens? It's always encouraging to me.
dad badan ay soo wacay oo waxay leeyihiin ilhaan dawladda Mareykanka inaan la hadashid waaye dawladda Mareykanka maxay ka qabanaysaa jawaabteedu waxay ahayd dawladda Mareykanka waxay ka qabanaysaa wixii annaga aan dhahno dawladda.
So I'm not going to listen to all this nonsense. I'm not going to make you listen to all of it. But I do have a question. How many American elected representatives does our nation need who speak in a foreign language while they're in America? What is the purpose of that? I mean, I can understand if someone has fluency in a second language and they're visiting some foreign nation, they want to speak to those people in their native language. Sure, makes sense. But if you're an American elected official in America speaking to presumably Americans, Why are you speaking a foreign language? Well, of course, we know the reason why. The reason why is because America has imported tens of millions of foreign nationals who have no interest in being Americans, no interest in integrating into our society, our American society. It's an invasion. It's an invasion. They may never learn English because they don't want to learn English. They don't want to be Americans. They simply want to be a metastatic cancer of their third world culture and implant it in the American body politic. That's why. Now, some people are going to say, well, what about Israel? Fair criticism. Fair criticism. People say the same things in that context. I am unabashedly America first, America only. I think all our interactions with foreign nations, whether they're Guatemala or Israel or anybody else, Somalia, I don't care. Our interactions with foreign nations should have a single premise. What is in the national interest of the United States? That's going to vary by foreign nation. It's going to vary by circumstances, but the core principle always has to be what is in the national interest of the United States. And by the way, I'm done with all this assimilation nonsense. These people aren't trying to assimilate. I saw a video just the other day. Man, one of the worst is India. I swear to God. Let me see if I can find it quickly. I should have saved it and I didn't. Now I feel silly for that, but maybe I think I just responded to it this morning, so maybe I can find it quickly. Maybe I can find it quickly. It was a video that a guy took of a Costco. He was inside a Costco, and the other people inside the Costco. Here, maybe I'll find. Here, I found it. Okay. Look at this. Look at this. And this is legal migration, presumably. I don't believe these people snuck over the border, but legal migration, as currently allowed, is as big a problem as illegal migration. Maybe it's worse. Maybe it's worse. So this, of course, if you're an American, you'll recognize what a Costco looks like, I'm sure. Would you believe I've been a Costco member since like 1993? That's what happens. If you can avoid dying, you become a Costco member for decade after decade. But this guy writes, this is a Costco in Frisco, Texas. The Indian third world nation takeover in full view. Hardly any Americans in sight. The Indian population exploded 4,510% in Frisco, Texas over the last 20 years, surging from 2.5% of the population to nearly 1/3 of the city. H-1B betrayal robs our people, Americans, of jobs, wipes out our heritage, erases our communities. America's harsh new reality, the great replacement unfolding. And let's just look at this video clip. It's not very long. Oh, yeah. I didn't know there was music. whoever prepared this overlaid. I'm pretty sure the Costco is not playing that annoying Indian music in the background. This is not assimilation. The only thing that could save this song if Sydney Sweeney was dancing to it. I mean, how can they all be at Costco? Where's the customer support? What if my computer breaks? Am I going to have to go to Costco to get help? This is insane. And this is presumably legal immigration. Why is it in America's national interest as a nation? Why is it in Americans' national interest as citizens to have hundreds of thousands of third world Indians in our country? I understand why they want to be here. If I had to choose from a poop hole like India or America, I'd rather be in America too. I understand why they want to be here, but why do I want them here? How does that serve me? How does that serve me, my family, my community, my tribe? Why are we replacing American culture with Indian culture? If Indian culture was so awesome, why is everyone in India trying to run out of India into the US? Why do we want to transition ourselves into a third world nation? If India is so awesome, why does it look and smell like India? This is madness. All these people, by the way, we're doing, to the extent you care about India, which I don't, except as it might align with American interest, to the extent you care about India, imagine the disservice we're doing to India. We're literally sucking away the people we're told are their best and brightest, the most brilliant people in the world. That's why we have to let them in. Elon tells us, Vivek tells us. If India is ever not going to be a dump, these people need to go home. And the smell, oh my God, why? Why? So, DC Drano, back to Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, currently in flight out of Texas to avoid having to engage in the democratic process as an elected representative. She ran away from her job. Most of you work for somebody. If you ran away from your job, would they keep paying you? Would you still have a job when you came back? DC Drano writes, this is why we must abolish birthright citizenship. Delia Ramirez is an anchor baby born to two illegal aliens, illegal migrant third world invaders who popped out Delia on American soil. And we're pretending that anyone born on American soil, even to illegal invaders, instantly acquires American citizenship. That's not the law. That's not what the 14th Amendment says. That's not what any statute says. Of course, a few left-wing judges say that, but they have no legal basis for saying that. The history of the debates of the 14th Amendment are very clear. Being born on American soil is not enough. You have to be born here and have exclusive political jurisdiction within the United States. If you're born to foreign national parents, you have the nationality of your parents. That's how that works. You don't get the benefits of American citizenship by unlawfully entering our nation. That's not how that works. Native American Indians were not American citizens simply because they were born on American soil. Not under the 14th Amendment. 100 years ago, we passed a congressional statute that made those people American citizens, made Native Americans American citizens if they're born on U.S. soil. But no such statutory provision exists for illegal migrant third world invaders. And the reason the Native Americans needed the statute from the 1920s is because the 14th Amendment from the 1860s did not create birthright citizenship. She's an anchor baby. As far as I'm concerned, she's not an American citizen. Now, you don't need to be an American citizen to be a congressperson. And why is that, by the way? Why is that? The founders understood that there was a difference. There was a difference in degrees of citizenship and loyalty to the American sovereign nation. That's why a president has to be a natural-born citizen. A naturalized citizen is not enough. You have to be a natural-born citizen to be president. Now, why didn't they apply similar rules to being a senator or a congressperson or a judge? Well, they never imagined that America would ever be a nation that would allow itself to be subject to 100 million illegal migrant third world invaders and millions more legal third world migrants into our nation. Because they never imagined we would have a political party that had so lost the political trust of the American electorate that they had to replace the American electorate with the third world if they wanted any hope of maintaining political power. That we would have an American Democrat Party that would ecstatically rule over the ashes of the America founded after an 8-year desperate war for liberty from the tyranny of England and the king, that we would ever have a Democrat Party that would aggressively replace American citizens with the third world solely so they could maintain personal power, which is, of course, what they're doing. And what is happening in Texas now with this Democrat flight out of Texas to avoid redistricting. They don't care about anything except their own political power, and they see they're about to lose their own political power. Now, DC Drano says she should be stripped of citizenship and deported, along with her entire illegal alien family. By the way, that's a reference to the fact, you may not know this. Would you believe me if I told you that not only was Delia Ramirez not an American citizen because her parents were illegal invaders of America when she was born on American soil, not only that, but she chose as her husband someone who's currently an illegal migrant in America. Hey, ICE, I found one. Her husband is an illegal migrant in America. How do you think she's going to vote on matters of national sovereignty in the context of the 100 million illegal migrant third world invaders? Consistent with the interest of America and American citizens, or consistent with the interest of Guatemalan illegal migrant third world invaders like her husband? Now, I don't think she has citizenship because I don't think birthright citizenship is a thing. To the extent she has citizenship, it's very hard to take citizenship away from people. That's not the argument I would make. She's got it and we're going to take it. My argument would be made she's never had it. We've been pretending that she's an American citizen, but she's not one. And certainly her husband, who's an illegal migrant in the country, should be, of course, deported. And the family that deports together is the family that stays together. Why can't she bring all her skills, or all her political expertise and energy to help Guatemala, her cultural nation of citizenship? Why is she doing it in Texas and then not doing it in Texas because she ran out of Texas so she wouldn't have to vote on redistricting? On redistricting. Absolutely amazing. I was going to mention something else about her. What was it? Oh, I was talking about how the president has to be a natural born citizen. Why don't we have that rule for senators, congressmen, judges? We should. Why don't we create that rule now? In fact, I would argue that we should have at least a second generation of citizenship. That a first generation citizen is an American citizen. You become a naturalized citizen, you're an American citizen. But just like you can't run for president, you ought not be able to be a U.S. senator. Sorry. Or a congressperson, or a federal judge. Your kids can, assuming they're U.S. citizens too. The second generation can. But if you're first generation, your entire cultural heritage is not America. Now, God bless you. You chose to come to America. You valued American citizenship. You did it the right way. You're not an illegal migrant third world invader. And by the way, the right way should be a lot more. People talk about how it's too hard to become a U.S. citizen. The process is too long and costly. F you. F you. The process should be 10 times harder and 10 times more costly. It's too easy to become an American citizen. And our criteria, our filter criteria, should be way different than it is. You know, until the 1960s, when guys like Ted Kennedy and other Democrats achieved power in the federal government, we prioritized immigration from nations that shared a similar cultural heritage to our own, meaning primarily Western Europe. And the Democrats in the 60s, already reading the tea leaves, knowing that what they planned to do would outrage and alienate American citizens, they already started the process of importing the third world into the U.S., giving preferential treatment for entry into the U.S. to non-Western Europeans, to everybody, to the third world. Why is that? Why is that? Why don't we assign a weighting system where if you're coming from a Western or even Eastern European country, Poland sounds great. You want to come here? I was in Poland just last year before, on a motorcycle trip. A lot of pretty girls in Poland. I wouldn't mind if they came to America. Why don't they get 100 points weighted? And if you're coming from a third world country, you get a negative 100 points weighted. Why do we need more of the third world in America? Again, how does that serve America's interest?
Thanks for watching this highlight segment of our full-length Law of Self-Defense live stream. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to give us a like and subscribe for more expert analysis on politics, law, and how to be hard to convict. And to watch the full-length episode of this show, just click right here. Stay safe.